Hello everyone, it's DA here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you are doing fantastic. I can guarantee you one thing. If I ask 1,000 Division 2 players right now what they look for in a good assault rifle, sure they will say good base damage and all, but most of you will basically talk about the RPM, and the moment you see the RPM, anything lower than a 750 becomes a deal breaker. And the same goes for SMGs and LMGs as well. Of course, people are a little bit lenient on LMGs, but when it comes to ARs and SMGs, a lot of people are much more skeptical about things. Most of the people you'll see will be running with 750s and higher. And the reason for this is because of that burst damage that you get from 750s and most especially 850s and 900s. The higher DPS coming from the higher rounds per minute is very efficient and is quite important for a lot of builds out there. But what if I told you that 650s and 625s ARs are also a gem just hidden to most people, and because of that low RPM, very few dare to touch them or even try it out? Let me explain. Fast RPM weapon is usually great, but the reality is the longer you go in this fight, you are put in a disadvantage. And here is a calculation that will explain everything. We have a FAMAS with 40k base damage and 900 RPM, and we're going to be comparing it to the ACR with 48.4k base damage, firing at 650 RPM. They both have 40 bullets in the magazine. And ideally, most of us will pick the FAMAS 2010. And this is obvious because you're looking at the fact that the FAMAS will be able to put out 600k damage per second, while the ACR will be putting out 524k per second. If you're looking at it based on the RPM calculations, then you're going to be thinking, yes, the FAMAS is better. However, it's only better in a short term. The longer the battle progresses, the harder it is to take enemies down with a FAMAS. And the reason for this is because a lot of people are missing one key component, and that is the damage per magazine. And this is why I suggest that if you run with a 900 RPM or 750 RPM weapon, then you should pair it up with a 625 or a 650 as your backup. For a full mag, the FAMAS at base damage will put out a total of 1.6 million damage before reloading the weapon. But when it comes to the ACR, you will be putting out 1.936 million damage per magazine before reloading. While the FAMAS is out of ammo, the ACR will still be having some shots left, and this can be beneficial when you're running with status builds such as bleed or fire, and these are components that even make a lot of the 650s and 625s really powerful. Reason for this is because bleed damage or fire damage is based on the base damage of the weapon itself, and it multiplies that base damage. So when you're using a weapon that has a high base damage, the elemental effects are a lot more powerful, and bleed is also a lot powerful. Now here's the thing that you have to keep in mind, because I'm not saying that 900 RPMs are bad and 625s and 650s are just the best thing in the world. When it comes to PvP scenarios, weapons like FAMAS is great for targets with low armor, since you will likely destroy them before you even reload. However, targets rocking 1.6, 1.82 million armor will need something that deals more damage per hit and can last long in the battle. And when you're going against targets running efficient and you need the high bleed proc with high base damage to counter them, you will need something in the 625s and the 650s. Do you use 650s and 625 weapons? Let me know about your experience below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.